Hi, everyone. Welcome to Potentials. We have a very special guest today, and I'm going to be sharing some things from her. She's going to be sharing things from her book. Deanne is Deanne Auber, is an author of a book called Cloud People. In 2020, Deanne began to recognize that she had received an extraordinary gift of spiritual sight, extending beyond the veil, which began her journey of photo photographing and cataloging sacred images revealed to her in clouds and nature itself. She soon realized that these divine messages were not just for herself, but for everyone, with the purpose of raising the collective consciousness and global vibration. They are part of the New World Rising, laying the groundwork for what is coming and assisting in the global spiritual awakening. Deanne is a creative painter and uses digital art to paint. And what she sees in the cloud images, that's what she paints. She owned a spiritual arts and crafts studio where she witnessed many healings. That's very interesting. I'm going to ask her about that. Deanne enjoys animals and nature and maintains a whimsical flower garden with plenty of garden art and has tracked the bird migration in her yard for over 35 years. Deanne will be sharing some pictures from her book, Cloud People Sacred Message, published 2022 in December, as well as some of her most recent images. Please join and share this phenomenal yet humbling experience by studying some of these high vibrational cloud images for yourself. And I will include her link to her book in the description and also her link to her Instagram page. So welcome, Deanne. I appreciate you coming on and sharing your beautiful cloud messages with us.
Thank you, Leisha. It's an honor to be here with you on your podcast. I'm thrilled to share my book and what's going on in the clouds, at least what I see. And it was quite a journey to start, I must say. It was
Yeah.
an kind of an extraordinary event that just happened one day. I just noticed all of a sudden
Wow.
I was seeing things in the clouds.
I was
And
going to ask, is that something that you've always had, or is it just something that happened all of a sudden?
no, it's just something that came on. It happened
Wow.
probably back in about maybe 2019, 2020, when I started
Interesting.
noticing it. And what really brought it to the surface was well, I'll be showing some pictures later, but there's a picture my sister had sent me of a beautiful rainbow over
Mm.
their development. And when I opened it, the first thing I said to her was, wow, look at that face and under the rainbow. And she was like, what face? And I said, oh, come on, you can't see that. And she's like, no. And I had to draw it out for her. And so that was like the first thing. And then it continued. It was like um, clouds were jumping out at me. This one time I was coming home from work and I was, it was probably like early evening because it was about 5:30 or 6. And the moon, I had to be later than that because the moon was already up. And I noticed these clouds were like actually coming out at me, jumping out at me, like, look at us, look at us. So I
Mm.
got out and took some pictures, and there was some, and I have those pictures here. I guess I would say like ET sort of whimsical figures. So, I
Mm.
mean, when people think you look beyond the veil, you expect to see, angels and all of this stuff. It's quite the opposite. It's very whimsical. There's whimsical things, there's angelic, there are angels. There's also the lower entities that come
Mm.
through. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, and what I noticed was some of it was saying kind of like the history of the planet. And
Wow.
there were pictures going back to show like dinosaurs, prehistoric aquatic, and it
Wow.
kind of went in segments. So I would see things like that, and then pictures of war. There were tanks and men with guns, um, and it just kind of, and then things that I didn't understand, which I'm sure were some of the future, but some were cities underwater.
Mm,
Could have very well been Atlantis.
mm-hmm,
You know,
mm-hmm.
and things from our history that we question and we're trying to find out uh,
Right,
that are being revealed. So some of these pictures I go back and I look at now and I see even different things now. These
right.
are so high vibrational. You can look at one picture, we could look at the same picture, and you would see something totally different than I would. They
Wow.
are meant to be individual messages as well as collective. But you see what you're meant to according to your life path, and I see what
Mm,
I'm supposed to. And those will they you feel the vibration of
mm-hmm.
these when I was working on the pictures.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel them when I look at them. So they're just so beautiful. And and do they change? Like you said, they do change, right? When you look at them
Yeah.
again, you see
Yes.
something different. Do you ever
Yes.
add more layers to it? Do you ever come back to a picture and say, I see more than what I saw, so let me add
Yes.
that? You do.
Yes. Yes, I
Yeah.
do. It's kind of like looking in a hallway of mirrors because
Mm.
there's so much dimension to these pictures that when I start to define them, I can see a picture within the picture within the picture within the picture. It's
Wow.
keeps going infinitely.
Right.
And that's sometimes so frustrating because when I look at the first picture and I think I want to paint that, then I get
Hmm.
all caught up in all the detail, and all of a sudden, before I know it, and I'll show you some pictures. I've got this just whole picture of all these other little pictures and everything. And it's like, no, I just wanted to do the big thing, but it keeps leading me to do more.
Right.
So and then I've redone the same picture, maybe 5, 6 times because I still see you can see one face, but all of a sudden then you'll see another face within that face or this or a silhouette of another face. It depends how you have to turn it upside down, you can turn them sideways. There's
Perspective.
all sorts
Right.
of things. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
And
when I
oh,
first started this, like I said, no one believed me. And eventually my sister was the first one. Thank you. And I had somebody on my side uh, that because they couldn't see it, so they didn't believe, what I was seeing. And everybody's like, oh, everybody sees fluffy bunnies and this and that. And the
pareidolia, right? People say that,
correct,
which
correct,
is not what this is. Yeah.
correct. No, and I learned that. So as time went on, it was probably a couple months, and I was questioning, myself, what I was seeing. However, so it was like about 6 in the morning or so, and I went out and I'm out looking at the clouds, and it was this beautiful sunrise, and I was watching this cloud go by, and it was this big face. And I looked up and I said, what is this that I see you? Why is this real? I'm so frustrated. Nobody believes me. And now I'm standing there in my robe on my front sidewalk, and I'm yelling up at the sky. My neighbors must have thought I was crazy. And I'm talking to this cloud, and I'm very serious. I'm frustrated because I really don't know. And then I said, if this is true, what am I supposed to do with this?
Right.
Why am I being allowed to see all of this? And as I'm watching this cloud, off to the right comes a darker cloud within that. And and there was figures standing in that cloud. And I soon
Hmm.
recognized that it was my parents.
Wow.
I still get choked up because it was very emotional.
Mm,
And that was my affirmation
mm.
that I
Wow.
needed. So I just took it and ran. I just kept taking pictures, and eventually I I was talking to a friend of mine who's a medium, and he was more or less my spiritual guide through this. And he said, what are you going to do with all your pictures? I said, I haven't a clue. I don't know. I said, what am I supposed to do? He said, I think you're supposed to share all this. He said, why
Yeah.
don't you consider doing a book? I said, I've never done a book. I've never published or anything. I'm an amateur photographer. I use my iPhone. I don't have a big fancy camera. And he just said,
You don't need
got
one.
big. He said, you have what you need. That's all
Mhm.
they're asking you to do is get the
Yeah.
message out, to start looking up at the sky, that there are messages for everybody and of
Mm,
what's coming.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how the book came about.
That's beautiful. I
Yeah,
love that. Thank you for sharing that. I have it right here. I don't know if everybody can see it. It's tricky with the way my I have the blur on my camera. I know I
yeah,
have to do it a certain way. There it
there.
is.
Yep.
Ah, my apologies. Well, you can sort of see it, but there it is.
There
Cloud
you go.
People, Sacred Messages. You can't see the whole thing, but you can see the title. But you have so many beautiful pictures in here. I just wanted to share quickly one of my favorite ones, which is, I believe this is in the Ascension. Um, there it is, the Ascension photos. Look at
Yes,
those clouds. They look like literally like spirits, like souls,
right.
uh, ascending into another dimension. It's just so beautiful.
And you can see the angel. I think I have that one
Yeah.
in the presentation. I'll
Oh,
pull
do
that up.
you? Okay, well,
Yes.
yeah, let's get to that. I want to see more pictures.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let me get there. Where am I at here? There we go. Okay. Can
Yay.
you can see
Yes.
that? Okay.
Yes.
So, yes, Cloud People, Sacred Messages is the name of the book. It's available through Blurb. It was a self-published book, and you said you would have the link there.
Yes.
So,
I'm going to put it in the description so everybody can check it out.
okay. So this was the morning I was standing out on the sidewalk. And this was the face, but here was the darker cloud that kind of came in.
Okay.
Now it's going to be difficult for you. I think I made it kind of blew it up, but
Mhm. Yeah.
my father was in a wheelchair at the time. So, I
Mm.
mean, when this picture was taken, that they presented themselves to me. So
Right.
if I can see mom standing, my dad in the chair,
Oh,
and this is the actual picture
oh my goodness.
of them, that how they
Wow.
presented themselves in the cloud. I just tried
Right.
to draw it out, but
Yeah, I see. I see that.
so
Wow.
if I go back, you
That,
can kind
yeah.
of see his head here, he's in the chair,
Hmm.
she's standing
Oh, I
behind
see
him.
it. Oh,
And
definitely. Yeah.
this was always one of my favorite pictures. So I think that's why they chose to present themselves that way,
Yes.
that I would recognize the shapes and everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was quite profound for me.
Wow.
And then once I accepted the fact that this was happening,
Hmm.
things started to come. Um, like I would be shown a certain cloud picture, or I'd be on the internet and all of a sudden something would pop up to say, like, look at this. And it would lead me. So this was one of the pictures. This um, cloud looked like an angel
Mm.
and speaking, the profile
Yeah.
was speaking and
Yes.
a kind
I
of an
see that.
affirmation.
And it almost looks like another face that she's speaking to right in front of her
Right.
with a little halo over its head.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
that's what I see. And I see other angels all around.
Mm-hmm.
These other clouds look like angels to me too.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And so again, that was an affirmation for me that
Mm.
yes, the clouds are speaking to me.
Yeah,
Um, then
definitely.
I was some of the other things that were coming up on the internet were very Native American based. A lot of uh, what they believed. And I found that interesting. So here I am driving home from work and
Oh,
this cloud. And a lot of people see different things in it, but what I saw, I guess, was this is a face.
yes,
Here's the eyes looking down and feathers. And I thought this kind of looked like a Native American medicine man
right.
or, something like that. And looking down at people that need help or
Mm.
are lost, I'm not quite sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the odd thing that I saw also, and it's not real apparent, it was this line drew my eye right here,
Yes, I see the donut.
the donut. And I'm
Yes.
in a, this man is jumping up towards it. And I'm
Yeah,
thinking, astrology, what is this? Um,
right,
what captured in that picture? Because sometimes odd things come up in the pictures that you don't see.
right.
And besides just the clouds. And, is this their Native American connection to our star families or star nations, so that I found interesting. There's a lot of questions sometimes. And Leisure, if you wouldn't mind, could I, because of that um Native American uh way that it led me, this was one of this little poem, I guess, Native American poem, was
Oh,
one of
yeah.
the things that popped up on the internet for me that I was supposed to see. And ironically enough, it's called Cloud People.
Oh, wow.
And it's by the First People American Indian Legends.
Beautiful.
And it's just a paragraph, if you don't mind. I'd like to kind of read because it really applies.
Yes, please.
Okay, so a little boy stood watching the changes in the sky while his father finished making arrows. Father, why is it that I see the cloud people's faces in the sky and they change? The cloud people are telling you a story, my son. Shall we watch and figure out the medicine story the Sky Nation is giving you today? As the two watched, they saw the giant profile of a man made of clouds, with his lips pursed as if he was whistling or blowing air, and then it changed. An eagle appeared to be gliding on the currents. Later, another change brought the lone figure of an Indian warrior reaching for an arrow that was flying across the sky. The arrow changed to an eagle feather, and the clouds rolled away. After reflecting, the boy explained that he saw the wind chief blow the breeze that lifted eagle's wings. The warrior on the ground had to reach higher than his head to catch the arrow of truth. In grasping the truth, the warrior earned an eagle feather. The warrior became the brother of the eagle, understanding the truth that the great mystery sent through his spiritual messengers of the Sky Nation. His father smiled, for his son had learned to listen to another one of their relations.
Mhm.
And I just thought this picture spoke volumes of that little poem. And
Yes, absolutely. That is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
yeah, and that's something why I put that right in the beginning of the book, because I wanted to honor that I felt I'm
Hmm.
being guided uh, by what the Native Americans have experienced and honor. And I found that that is again another affirmation that this
Yes.
was meant to be and come out.
Yes. And I'm sure they see, I mean, they see these kinds of clouds all the time and and the messages. And these are indigenous groups all over the world.
Right.
Tribal groups have seen these messages. And there was a book by Paul Coelho. I can't think of it offhand, but I remember reading about that where he saw, images in the sky, in the clouds, and and just different messages from the way that birds were flying. And if you pay attention to them, you'll see, you can, portend the future, and you can anticipate certain things if there's going to be a change or something happening. So that's interesting.
Yeah, nature tells us.
Yes.
So then this to me looked right away like an Indian, and I drew it out, one of the paintings I did of what I see.
Yes.
So that was uh, another another cloud towards that Indian nation. And then it continued with this one. You don't see a whole lot at first. You kind of see this prehistoric, maybe looking alligator, or you can kind of pick up this cloud face behind there. So I drew that out.
Oh, wow.
And what comes up is the flute player, the Indian flute player for the animals.
Mm,
And
wow.
and that's what it means. Some of this is, the characters that come out, it just goes on and on and on when you look at all these little
That's
little
amazing.
ones.
You get the
Yeah,
detail, you all these little details. Wow.
right, right. And that
Beautiful.
kind of that's what I see in a picture. And it's really the camera's lens that picks this up. It's not so
Hmm.
much that I can just look at this picture that was before and see all that detail. I can see some of it,
Mm,
but it's when I sit down and actually look at the picture, it pops out at me.
yes. Things come through the lens. It's almost as though it has its own consciousness, that it
Yes.
pulls out. Yes.
Yeah, I encourage everybody. I mean, first of all, to get out and look up at the clouds and use your phones, your cameras, and
Hmm.
you'll start to see things. But start if you looking at the clouds, my suggestion is look for eyes first. So this was the rainbow that I
Oh,
saw,
wow.
and um,
That's
it
stunning.
was it was a beautiful that had a horrible storm, obviously, and then this rainbow came out.
Looks like a
So
double
when I
rainbow.
hmm
Yeah.
So then I sent my sister this picture of the face that was below there.
Wow.
If I go back, it's like, okay, yeah, now I
Yes.
see it once you point it out.
Right. Right.
And
Amazing.
and this picture too has so much in it. When I can go
Mm.
back and there's this beautiful uh side view of a woman, I guess. I'm not quite
Mm.
sure. But
Yeah.
I keep looking. This is one that has so much dimension in it, and one that I have
Absolutely.
painted over and over because there's
Hmm.
so much.
Yes. Oh, I see
Mhm.
her. Yes. Wow.
Mhm.
That's
Oh,
amazing. That's amazing.
so
Wow. Look at that.
this was I immediately saw this profile here,
Hmm.
and it drew my attention to take the picture. And actually what came out was
Hmm.
this. I call it sweet dreams. It's just so precious. All these little animals, everybody's happy. They're just
Oh.
all in a dream state. Um,
I remember this one. Yeah.
oop,
It's
oop.
one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah. This was again during a
Oh.
storm, and the sky was opening up,
Hmm.
and I saw this dove right away in the middle, and it just really brought my eye. And there was so much in it, um, that this is another one that I could recreate so many times. But the main
Mm.
focus was that dove. I just thought that was beautiful
Hmm. I
in
see all those
itself.
eyes now that you took it
Yep.
off. I'm
You can
that it's like,
see,
yeah,
yep, the figures standing here, the men. Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. And here's the one you like.
Yes.
The souls ascending. And you angels go with angels always are
Hmm.
with. When you have souls ascending, look for the angels because they
Mm.
are guiding them.
Hmm.
So yeah, I see angels.
Oh,
Um,
beautiful.
you can see her, even her face.
Hmm.
So there's the divine side, and then we have a little bit of the darker side that comes through.
Ooh.
this was the storm coming on. The storm was this black, and it was a horrible storm. This
Mm.
was still where it was light, and
Hmm.
I saw the whole face and everything. And I jumped out of my car, and right now it was pouring rain when I
Oh my
took this
goodness.
picture, and the wind was blowing because the storm was moving in, and I wanted to capture this profile
Yes.
before those dark clouds enveloped it. So I was able to get it.
What we do for our art.
I know. People must have thought I was crazy standing outside my car in the pouring rain. But and so this was another kind of the dark side.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
this to me looked like a soul being tortured, maybe. I don't
Mm.
know. But it has, and there was another dark face here looking on. So there are
Hmm.
some dark scenes that are shown as well.
Hmm.
A serpent, a fire breathing serpent, I guess. Um,
Mm.
and to me, this looks like a dragon.
Mm. Hmm.
Once you start to, the mouth, the nose, the
Right.
eyes, the fin, and I know some people see a wolf, and that's
Mhm.
okay. You see whatever you're meant to see. And then there's this little guy down here. Um, so dragons can
Yeah, definitely
come
dragon.
about. And this one, I like Land Before Time. It looks like
Ah,
the little dinosaurs
yes.
traveling. So this was kind of in the beginning when I was being shown more of the prehistoric animals.
Right. Oh.
Um, yeah, so even without painting it, you can pick up objects here.
Hmm. Oh,
Uh,
absolutely. Wow, that's really pretty clear too.
yeah, yes, yes, and that's
How
just
can
the
you not
cloud.
see that?
I know.
Wow.
There were so many little ones in there. Um, just I didn't know where to stop. And then you got these watchers in the back here,
Wow.
um, two that came out.
Hmm.
Um, this was, I just thought, a sweet face. Here's the mouth, the nose, the eyes, uh, that just appeared. I don't even think I colored that one because I thought it was just pretty the way it was.
Yeah.
Another
Oh,
face.
wow.
Yeah. I mean, and they're pretty dramatic. Yeah.
Yes.
I can go out and there they are. And it's like, yes, what do you have to tell me tonight? You got my attention.
You got my attention.
Yeah. Yeah. Just let me
Wow.
know. Uh, I did not do anything to this. This was the cloud. I see two people standing here.
Wow.
Um, and then there's this object, the larger one behind.
It's almost as though they're looking through a window screen.
Doesn't this look to me dimensional?
Yes.
Like you're looking in through a portal, through another dimension.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's even at a time in a different time period by the clothing.
Hmm. Right. Right. I
Yeah.
see. I mean, I see the
I've
man. I see the woman next to him.
Right. Yeah. I found that quite extraordinary. I felt like I was definitely looking through, I don't know, the grid or through a
Yeah.
dimension
Through the
at that
matrix,
time.
something. Right.
Right. To capture that so quickly.
Amazing.
This one as well.
Ooh.
I mean, here's the
Wow.
trees. I mean, this
Hmm.
is the sky that I saw.
Right.
One standing there and a man. Um,
Amazing.
yeah, so I did just put her face on so that we could see. And when I paint this is really something extraordinary too. The It's just an electronic pen and it highlights what's supposed to be seen. I
Mm.
can highlight something and come back and it changes to what it's supposed to be.
Wow.
So these pictures allow the digital printing or painting to form itself. The picture form can form itself, what we're
Amazing.
supposed to be seeing on it. And so sometimes I'll just take a single color and color over, and the picture just appears what it's supposed to be.
Amazing.
And then there's fun ones like this. It's like a little boy holding two puppies.
Aw.
I thought that was so
Yes.
sweet.
And other little puppies looking on.
Yes, yeah, I know.
That's
Yeah,
adorable.
look like a bear there or
Yeah.
whatever. So as being getting into this more digital art, I started noticing more in famous art work, and like this painting by this was a Marc Chagall,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I thought to myself, I wonder if he could see in the clouds
I bet. I bet he could.
because there's so much in
Yes.
these that are similar to like, well, here's one that I did,
Mm-hmm.
similar to what I do. You find
Yeah.
all these people in there. And so I had to question. This was another one
Wow.
that I did. And it just, you know,
Amazing.
were- what was their inspiration when they did theirs? I'd love to have been able to talk to
It might
them.
have been anything, it could have been they just saw that all the time
That could
because you
be
we're artists, so we do see things in other dimensions.
right. And Salvador Dali is another one.
I love
Here
him.
he is actually painting, but look at here are clouds. He
Mm,
has painted clouds with faces.
yes.
Um, this, I don't think I did the whole picture, but this picture the rest of this picture is unbelievable.
Mm,
The Ecumenical Council or something like that. But I
that's so
wanted to zoom
cool.
in the fact that he was actually showing clouds with faces.
Right.
And I found that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so now other things started happening as well. So this was just a picture I took because it was a beautiful what was this? The sunrise. And I have a close-up of that.
Wow.
Yeah, like a hieroglyphic
Yeah.
sort of
Light
thing.
language is what it looks
Light
like almost.
language,
Yeah.
yeah, started coming in. I mean, it just how
Amazing.
odd that it was it was very obvious, first of
Yes.
all.
Yes.
So I don't know what it says. Maybe someday I'll learn.
Maybe somebody out there watching can translate this for us if we have
Yeah,
any light language people
yeah.
in the viewing audience.
I mean, it's been the pictures of like animals or something.
Mm,
Um, the only thing I see is more like an R and an A, like Ra, but who
mm,
knows? But the rest of that picture, this is what I saw.
wow.
I mean, there's actually a sphinx, there's
Mm,
buildings, there's roads, it's
wow.
like a whole,
Very intricate.
yes, yeah, that came along with that picture. So,
That's a download right there.
yes,
You received a major download with that one. Wow.
yeah, yeah. And that's what I wish maybe someday that light language that's on there will become known to me.
Yes. Like I said, maybe someone out there watching this video at some point will be able to decipher it.
Yeah, but that is definitely back in, Egypt or somewhere, city.
Yeah.
This just was very wispy to me, so I
Mm.
took the picture, but then I was amazed at what I all saw.
Wow.
But
That's the aquatic, right?
yeah, but
Right.
what's even more curious are these little faces up here
Yes.
looking on.
Uh-huh.
Um, what kind of a ET is that? Or, I don't know, extraterrestrial or
Multidimensional being,
right,
something. Yes.
right. But they are starting now to peek in to
Hmm.
my pictures. And
Yes.
they wanted to be seen. They
Mm.
wanted their picture taken too.
And they knew that you could see them. So, yes.
Yes, yes.
They're
This
like,
was
"Yes,
the
finally somebody can see us."
I know, and they started to make themselves known.
Mm.
This was the one when I was driving home and the clouds were coming out at me. So this little, I call him Casper the ghost here. He, he, he was just up there and literally those were lit up. I didn't do anything to this. And then this was that same night, and it's a little bit harder to tell, but there is a definite face here, the eyes, elongated head there. And again, they wanted to be seen. They want to be known. Um, so now you look at this and you think, oh, what did she want out of that one? I don't know what possessed me to take that. However, I do now know because down in the bottom left corner below the sun is where I found these guys. So
Hmm.
it's a little bit hard to tell, but um, you can see this. It's more like a bird, a prehistoric bird face.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I should get let me just grab my uh, plug here. Sorry. Should have had that plugged in there. Okay. Um, and then there's another face here and eyes up here and the long snout. And then this feminine looking one, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
And she's holding a child, a small, and they have feathers.
Mm.
So I'm thinking it's some sort of a wrap, uh, a race that is birds
An
or
avian race of some
and
kind. Yes.
right, right.
Right.
But that is to me, that's a family portrait.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And
Mm.
yes, I felt very loving that they wanted their family portrait to be seen. So I tried to enhance it.
And it also just goes to show, wow, that's amazing. It goes to show that it can be any angle. It doesn't have to be just the perspective that we're viewing it from. You can turn it sideways, you can turn it
Right,
we're not stuck in this up, down, left, right
right.
um, world, matrix, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's amazing.
I just tried to darken it and fill in a little bit where they were. There was a few more little ones down below. And then I did a close-up of her face, well, of all of them. You can see,
Yeah.
but look at the eyes. They have two
Yes.
pupils.
Right. I see it. So
Yeah.
beautiful.
And her headdress, there's
Mhm.
actually some sort of I don't know, figure on her headdress.
I see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I found them quite astonishing because, and actually when I look at this picture and when I was working on it, it became animated.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
he was winking at me, the big guy. It was like,
Oh
yeah, I
man.
see you, I see you.
That's
Um,
too bad you couldn't get that to,
I
make it.
know,
Maybe you can make it animated someday. I don't know,
I
somehow.
know. But that was first time that's happened to me. And
Mm.
and then since then I have had other instances of pictures animating. So that's kind of unique. So now I'm getting these pictures now of some of the different kind of races that wanted to be seen. But then I started getting photos on my phone that I didn't take, pictures that just popped up.
Wow.
And I didn't make any sense. I couldn't make any sense out of them.
Yeah.
However, they have light language on
The
them
light
or
codes.
codes, light
Yes.
codes. So I started working with it and I would have to change filters. I would have to maybe put it through a reverse negative, turn it upside down, inside out. And then
Mm.
with this one, this
Ooh.
message came across
Wow.
and I can see, there's this more of a early man. I don't know
Mm.
what period it would be.
Hmm.
And then this woman, uh,
Right. So
to me
beautiful.
looks more Native American with her
Mm.
dress and the
Hmm.
clothing.
In her
Um,
hair.
in her hair, right. And then I realized that this is her traveling through time. It's like a spiral. And they've done a light code right here to bring my attention to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one here. And
Yeah.
I do believe this one refers to the divine feminine,
Yeah.
the rising of Mother Earth. She's the divine feminine, as well as the rising of women and the feminine rising in men. So
That's
I
so
think
beautiful.
the message here was pretty clear on this one.
It's a
After,
beautiful, that's
I,
wow.
yeah,
It to me, it also you've captured a longitudinal wave, which is incredible because I don't
yes.
think I've ever seen one yet in a photograph, so that I know of.
Oh,
But you
are you
managed to
this?
capture a longitudinal wave. That's what the spiral is.
Okay, this
Um,
here. Yeah,
yeah,
going
yeah,
down.
that's amazing.
And I know, there's again, there's so many things I see in here. Um, this to me looks more like a ship uh
Mm,
with people on it, but
yeah,
I
I see it now.
and then this could be her in a larger form sitting on
Mm,
maybe a throne. It's hard to say.
her past life, maybe.
Past lives,
Right.
definitely.
Yeah.
Um, so I felt an immediate kinship with her, and I wish I knew more, but every time I look at the picture, I do see something more. And oops, wait a minute.
Do you ever think maybe it could be our ancestors showing themselves to us in the sky?
Oh, I do. I
Mm.
do believe that they're showing us things. I mean, here she is riding like a prehistoric animal here.
Wow.
Um, so I think some of this, like maybe this gentleman here is just to give us a reference of time. I'm
Yeah,
not quite sure.
could be.
Was it starting here and she's coming up the spiral and here she is now, or going down? I'm not,
Well, the thing
but
with spirals and time is that time isn't linear. And so it's just it's like a time loop, really. It's like
yeah,
there's no beginning and no end really. So you're not really seeing the beginning or the end, you're just seeing the progression of it.
yes. Yeah. So that was definitely a theme on this one, I believe, the rise of the
Yes.
divine feminine. So then the next picture transmission that was, I call them a transmission because I don't know what else to call them. They just show up on my camera roll. Uh, was this
That's
one?
so cool.
And
Wow. Look at
and
the
I'm thinking,
details.
I know, I thought, oh, what is this, a fish?
It's like a
It's
wow.
so I
There
turned it around and put it through some filters.
oh wow.
And not only is this light language
I
here,
was
it
gonna
almost
say it
looks,
looks like light language. Yeah.
yes. But so I think this is like code.
Yeah.
Here I have
Mm-hmm.
a what that might
Wow.
be.
Yeah, that definitely looks like code as well.
Yes. So
Wow.
then this, a close-up,
Oh,
look at this is what was on the face. It almost looks like a 222 or
all right.
um definite light code, light language. So maybe someday again, when the time is right, I
Mm-hmm.
will be shown what it is. I'll
Yes.
know. I
Yeah.
don't know. So then I took this same picture and put it through a reverse negative. And this is what comes out,
Ooh.
because here's that light language here. But
Yes.
what's curious to me is this looks like a baby. This looks like a birth
Oh,
to
oh
me.
wow. Yeah.
So here's the little rear end and a
Mm-hmm.
leg coming down and a leg and leg.
Mm.
Um, the birth of, and it's a little girl, you can tell. So again, the birth of the feminine, the
That's
birth
what
of
I was.
the new
Yes.
earth. I think
That's what I got to.
the rising of the new earth, the
Mm-hmm.
new dimension. Yeah.
Yes. Beautiful.
So yeah. So those are interesting. Then this one came, and I didn't know
Mm.
much about that, but I could see like a half. So I took it and I mirrored it.
Mm.
And then
Oh my
this is
goodness.
the whole picture when you
Wow.
take the half and you mirror it. So I'm thinking, okay, what is this guy trying to tell me? And I could see he had some sort of uniform on. And when I
Mm.
put that through the painting, this is what comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So a guardian, an
Mm.
archangel, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
He has a
Incredible.
red cape on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So again, what's the message? Here's another one I almost threw away because I thought, oh, I must have just clicked something wrong. And when I took that and I turned it upside down, I don't know if you can see the
Yes.
face,
Oh,
the
I see the
etching.
face. Yeah.
Okay, and then look above.
Yeah.
It's almost like um, knowledge coming through to the crown chakra,
Right. It's like a
to the third eye.
kundalini, like a
Right.
kundalini spirit.
Yes.
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 Wow.
And then then I started focusing on the shape behind. And to me, that almost looked Masonic
Mm.
when you go back and look at that.
Wow. That's
Masonic
really
or
weird.
also look like the Council of Five, the
Aha.
person in the middle. Um, so I try to
So it's
research
like,
some of this stuff.
oh,
And then, yeah. So the last picture was, it looks funny, but so there's a story to this one too. When I was working on the book, um, as I said, it was very high vibrational. And I would actually go to another dimension and I would see these different, I guess, elementals. I don't know what to call them.
yeah.
And I would have, they were outside looking in. This was outside my window looking at my neighbor's patio. And I have two big windows in the dining room that you can see directly in. And it was like 3 nights before the full moon. And what drew my attention was it was 12:30 at night. And I was deep in working on my book. And the moon shine was coming in through that side window. And it was just illuminating my living room. And I thought, oh, how beautiful. I want to get up and take a picture. Well, so I took a picture. And then when I looked at it, all these guys were in it. So, um, and I thought, well, hello. So but I had people in the house as well. I had a very large shadow man who was just watching. I didn't feel any fear.
Hmm.
That they were very interested in what I was doing because they had never seen that before. So
Mm.
they were curious. They were
Right.
watching. And then the same time that this was going on, I didn't know my son was out in the garage having a cigarette and it was cooler that night. So he had the garage door down. Well, he came in and he said, something just ran over the top of the garage roof. He said, I heard
Wow.
it running up to the door, up onto the roof, across the roof and back down. And I said, well, I don't know, there was this little flyer in here. He could have
Mhm.
jumped over, but it was at the exact same time I was taking this picture when he
Amazing.
walked in. So
Yeah.
that was strange. So those are the pictures I have
Oh,
to share. And
thank
you know,
you.
it continues to this day, still continues. So we'll see where it's
Yes.
going.
I know. I send you my pictures from that I like to take of the
Yes.
sunsets, because
Yes.
that's my
Oh, and
thing.
they're beautiful. And that we do
Thank you.
see things. The two of us are seeing things
Yes.
in
And I
it.
like to
Mhm.
send them to you because you always find more.
Yeah. And then I send them back. I like to send them back to you.
Yes, yes. So I'm so excited that you continue to do this, that you're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And will there be more books?
I have a feeling there will be. I'm just not sure what direction it's going to go.
Mm,
With the different pictures that are coming onto my phone,
yeah.
if that's going to be the direction that this is going, I'm kind of sitting back waiting to see, like, okay, what do you need me to do next?
Right.
And
Right.
I'm sure the time will come and they will show me, but in the meantime, I collect everything that's being given. And I would like to share the messages for sure, because they are for all of us. Yeah.
Yes. I I I totally believe that. And I feel like you said, everybody will look at these pictures and they'll get their own messages from it.
Yes.
Whatever you're meant to receive, whatever you're supposed to get from it, will
Right.
come through.
Right. So
So,
that's why I say, look up and take a picture or two, and you look for the eyes. That'll lead
mhm,
you to the face.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they're out there all the time.
Hmm.
It's just keep looking up, keep looking at the sky. And it's people spend too much time not looking at the sky.
Right.
And
And I
there are
know
a lot of
there,
distractions. I get that,
right.
but
There are now quite a few Facebook groups that are strictly devoted to clouds, and people
mhm.
are starting to see more and more things in the clouds. So I think that's positive that, people are looking up and seeing things. And, there's personal messages in there too. I remember a while ago when my cousin passed away, it
Mm,
was like 2 days later, a very unique cloud came across, and I took pictures of it. And it represented everything that she was about. She was a nurse. There was a picture of an actual like woman dressed in the white, like traditional nursing thing, so you would recognize what it was.
right,
She loved baseball, and there was a big glove with the ball coming towards it. She was she helped out with the blood center. She ran the blood drive, and it showed her holding a round sign with the big red X on it for like blood drive.
right.
And then she worked with the elderly as a nurse, and it showed a man in a wheelchair next to her. It was her whole life was in this
Mm,
cloud. But what it was most of all was the best part was the joy and the happiness that came out of it and the peace. So it was her message to us because she had an illness, so she suffered. And now
mm,
she's saying, I'm whole, I'm fine, I'm
mhm,
happy, I'm doing everything I love to do. And that was a message to us, to the family. So
mhm.
those kind of messages will come through for people as well.
Yes.
Um, I've heard people that where their dog passed away and all of a sudden they see a cloud that looked just like their dog. Well, I
Mhm.
said, yeah, their spirit is still with you. They want you to know.
Yeah.
So they're talking to everybody.
Yes. Yes. And the veil is getting thinner, or it's
Yes.
lifting, or whatever, however you want to look at it. But we're just seeing more. All of us
Mhm.
collectively are starting to see more and more messages, and they're everywhere.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you can see things in nature, in the
Mhm.
trees, in the
Yes.
water, in the rocks, everything. Everything is talking to us. It's amazing. And we have to listen and pay attention to that. It's screaming at us what to do. And nature's showing us how much they love one another, how
Mm.
accepting they are, because some of these pictures are of animals that don't get along, are like the lion and the lamb laying
Mhm.
together.
Yes.
How they're helping each other. They adopt other animals, in life. You can see what's happening. They're in the physical world, they're changing.
Mhm.
And um, the message is be kindness and love, and I really think that's really coming out pretty vividly in a lot of this, that what really matters in this world is
Yes.
caring about each other and helping each other. And we just have to look around to see it. It's there amongst all the chaos that's going on. You have to tune that out and look beyond.
Absolutely. Yes. We're being fed a lot of things through the media, and a lot of negativity, and I'm not saying that it's not there, but it's not something that we have to focus on completely all the time, and that we have to we should be focusing more on love and
Mhm.
caring about each other and helping each other get through the harder times that we have to, the struggle, whatever we're going through.
Right,
So,
right, especially how how things are affecting people, the anger that you see
mm,
in people today.
yeah.
Because I mean, it's one thing to be aware of what's going on, and we have to be aware, but to have it seep in so much that it affects everything you do and look at, and that's pretty sad that there's so much anger in the world right now.
Mm-hmm. Right. Anger and fear.
Fear
Um,
is a big thing. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like they're both being fueled. And
Mhm.
so the way to remove that is through love
Yeah.
and to put as much love out there as we possibly can.
Yep,
So,
tolerance and
yeah.
patience. Yeah, I
Mm,
know.
right.
It that's I think we talked about my studio, and that's what we experienced there was
Mm,
when we talked about healings, it was a lot of emotional healing that went
mm,
on. People felt they came to do art and crafts and stuff and found a safe zone where they could talk about anything. And how I can't tell you how many times I heard someone say, I have never shared this with anyone, but
mm.
I feel safe here.
Yes.
And this and that environment, that's what started the healing for some people.
Absolutely. Yes. And art
Yeah.
is a healing
Hmm.
mechanism. It's one way to learn how to heal yourself.
Yes.
So, yeah,
It-
it's very, very therapeutic.
yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's what we found. So that was quite a blessing in itself for me as well.
Do
Yeah.
you still do it? Do you still do the art studio?
I
Um,
don't have the studio anymore. COVID shut down a lot of things,
Mm.
but I I still do artwork myself.
Right.
I've never had a painting class, and I took one last summer and I loved it.
Yeah.
So I'd like to explore my studio was set up more at the time for teaching furniture painting. I was
Mm.
refinishing and furniture painting, but then we branched out into a whole lot of other things.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's really cool. Like you're being led and you just go wherever you're being led, you know.
Yes.
So
Yeah. All those
beautiful.
experiences you have to get to where you're going to be. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for being on my show. I do appreciate you coming on and sharing all of those beautiful images with us and all of the things that you see and hopefully anyone who like watches and maybe sees the light codes and they understand or they can decipher it or they understand it or it means something to them in some way that might help us as a collective and in some way, please feel free to share that in the comments. And I will put Deanne's information where you can find her book and her Instagram, so that you can do more research on her because what she's doing is just beautiful and wonderful and putting that out there. So thanks again for coming on.
You're welcome. And thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. And yeah, so everyone, thank you for watching. And again, thank you for supporting and liking my channel and please feel free to comment. I love your comments and I love to answer them. So thank you again for sharing and also my Patreon channel. You can check that out. I have um, other things on there that I can't put on YouTube and some that I can, but there are some other things like subquantum kinetics if you're interested in that. So yeah, that's a Potentials podcast on Patreon. And again, thank you. And everyone, you know, um, just share your love with everyone, and show them that you care because that's really important right now. So we all have to heal ourselves, and part of that is just sharing our love with other people. That helps you heal. So I encourage that. And thanks again for watching, everyone. Ciao for now.
Ciao.